Hi, and welcome back to Teaching English Using Videos. If you've seen our first episode, then you know that it was about watching a video clip, but without the image. So just focusing on the sounds first. And today we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to be watching a video clip with the sound off. Sounds good? Let's get started. As you're watching the scene, you'll have two tasks. One, trying to describe what's happening and use the past here. So what was happening in the scene. And number two, trying to think of a sentence that one of the characters could say during the scene. Okay, here we go. I'm going to be narrating the scene, which you could or could not do with your students, depending on whether you feel good doing it or not, as with most things in teaching. All right. Okay, so we can see that the atmosphere is not fantastic in this scene. You might be familiar with these characters. This is from the series Friends, and that's Ross. And that's Rachel, not very happy about Ross at the moment. Maybe a bit of mocking, so probably an argument. Ooh. An important object. Okay, a t-shirt. Whose size is that t-shirt? Rachel is very angry about that t-shirt. But Ross has big feelings about a t-shirt as well. Ooh. Right, relaxed is very far from how they look. Although Ross appears to be all right, or maybe he's trying to appear to be all right as he's walking out the door, which he does not slam. Interesting. Okay, so hopefully you've got your sentences in your head. I want to share with you the sentences my one-to-one student came up with recently. For what was happening in the scene, my student said, Rachel and Ross had been fighting for a while when the t-shirt came up. And for a reported question, my student attempted, and then we eventually got there. Rachel asked Ross if the t-shirt still fitted him. There's a bit of confusion between matching and fitting, as there often is, isn't there? But eventually my student got there. So I wonder how close these were to what to the ideas that you had. But definitely because of the way I set up the task, one similarity was the language point. So I imagined that your first sentence had some narrative tenses in it, whether it was a past continuous or the past perfect simple or continuous. And your second sentence probably had some elements of reported speech in it, whether it was reporting a question or a statement or an outburst. Let's have a look at a little bit of the scene so you get a clear idea about what actually happened. And then I want to tell you about how I turned this activity into a game in my lessons.
And that t-shirt you sleep in, I'd like that back too. Yes, I do.
You know how much I love that t-shirt. You never even wear that t-shirt.
I'm just trying to help you move on.
You have not worn that t-shirt since you were 15. It doesn't even fit you anymore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. If you don't mind, I'm going to take the rest of my stuff and relax in my favorite shirt. You have a pleasant evening.
Right, so let's talk about how you can turn this into a competition in the classroom. So what I do is I give my students slips of paper like this, or maybe bigger, which are folded, or because I'm really lazy, sometimes I give it to them like this and I tell them to fold them. Never do anything that you could get your students to do. And so on this side, I ask them to write their sentence or sentences, so it could be the two. One, what happened in the scene, and the second one, a sentence that a character could have said. And then when we have watched the scene without sound and they are done with their sentences, then they pass this little slip on to the pair on their left, let's say. And then so the pair reads the two sentences, and then here is where they score the original pair. So there's two different categories here. One is language and the other one is content. So by language, I mean, is the sentence correct in terms of using narrative tenses or reported speech? So that could be 2 marks if it's perfect, and 1.5, 1, 0.50, depending on how serious the mistake is or mistakes are. And then in terms of content, and so this should be negotiated with the class, I think, whether that means this is actually super true of the video, or we can hear this in the video, or it could be true of the video, or we could have heard this sentence in the video, and that's also from 0 to 2 points. So what happens is me and my partner, we're looking at the sentences of the pair sitting on our right, and we're going to score their sentences for language as well as content when we watch the video with the sound, like we have just done. And then to make sure it's fair, we're going to give this slip back to the original owners, and they're going to check our corrections. And if they don't agree with something, then they're going to call the teacher in, and the teacher is going to help everyone decide. But in my experience, learners are really quick to become trained in this kind of self-correction and peer correction. It's a really good motivation to focus on accuracy, is what I found. The reason I like to ask my students to do it like this, so unfold and fold back and pass it on like this, is because this way I can repeat the passing on several times. And so each time a pair gets a new slip, they look at the sentences, they decide from memory this time if the content was okay, and they decide if the language is okay, and then they unfold to check if the other pair or pairs agree with them or not. And if there's a disagreement, then again, they can call the teacher in, and I can help them decide who is right. And this is a really good opportunity to focus on language, but language used in a meaningful way. So we hope you like the idea and try it in class. Let us know how it goes, and we'll see you next time. Bye.